Hey, good morning. Welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum show. I have to say, this something's wrong with Steamworks or whatever. I need SteamYard. Can't get the head audio in here, doesn't work. But we're live. I know we're live, so we're good to go. Hey, you know, why do we try to use these point metrics and what we look at? And I want to talk about a couple things. For example, averages are so much better than point metrics because if I were to go and I used my went hiking the other day, you'll see some pictures of throughout the week of thoughts about what did you do, what fun thing did you last, what's your next fun thing, and blockers. Just I was wanted to do it Friday, but I didn't get to do it for the fun Friday. But it was just one of the things. And one of the things today that caught my attention, I'm always trying to do my metrics. I don't know if you can see this. I'm trying to track things. And one of the things, so yesterday, with all the hiking I did yesterday, which you'll see the pictures, it was good. A lot of exercise. Hard. It's fun is not easy. Sometimes it's hard work. So yesterday I did like 15,000, almost 16,000 steps. But over the last 7 days, I've been averaging 10,000 steps. Now, how many times do you get in a situation where, hey, last sprint we did 1,000 million points worth of work. We should make that our average and make that a goal again. Like, no, no. I did 15,000 steps. Well, one was a mile. It was a mile up and a mile back down. It was a lot of work. That's why I got the 15,000 steps. I'm not going to do that every day. That's not going to happen every sprint. And if I was a scrum master and said, oh, we should take that 15,000 steps and make that now the new normal for our team, the next sprint, we should make a goal for another 15,000. No, there was a fun event at the end of why we made the 15,000 because we were having fun and enjoying it. You can't just go by that. So we're going to talk about that today here on the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show, where we talk about Scrum and Agile in a very practical, tactical way so you can get more value for your customer, not work so hard to get that value, and get home to family and friends or have a little fun along the way. And one of the things I'll mention, our mission goal right there behind me, the mission of getting people home to family and friends. You know, it's like a key mantra for Agile mindset. And I'm amazed. I'd be curious of how many of these people have these, quote, Agile businesses or podcasts. What do they really do to meet the original goal of going agile, the agile manifesto? They didn't like spending their time on stuff that had no value, wasting time at work when they could be with family and friends. And that's our mission here on the show. So let's talk about that mission here as far as Metric Monday on our show. And we're talking about how average metrics are so much better than point metrics and using the average. Now you look at velocity, you can average every day. You can look at every day. You can be on every day. How's everything? Things go up and down. And we talked about the shark's tooth in the past for velocity, how it kind of goes up and down if you kind of measure it every way. But you should really looking at averages. When I look at team's velocity, I don't necessarily look at a point in time. Like, hey, last sprint, like my steps yesterday, I did 15,000 steps. So maybe a next sprint, we should do another 15,000 steps. It was a different goal, different place. My average I'm looking for is 10,000. Actually, my goal is to go up to 12,000, right? Right now I'm at 10,000. That was my old goal. My old goal was originally 10,000 steps per day. My new goal was 12,000 steps per day. I moved it up because I'm changing things, changing my trajectory, changing my goals in order for me to achieve that 12,000 steps. Now, if I were like a very novice scrum master or an agile coach or manager, well, he just scored 15,000 points yesterday or last sprint or whatever yesterday. So we should up the average to 15,000. Why don't we make it 15,000 every day? Because it doesn't work that way. You have up and downs. If my average is 10,000, I did 15,000 yesterday, I could have had a low of 5,000. It could have been because I had my watch turned off and charging and didn't have it with me. Part of the reason. But that stuff happens, right? Sometimes things are off. So you have a holiday, you have a vacation. You're working on some work that's really harder than normal, right? You didn't plan for that, or you got a lot of things that came in that weren't expected. So you're not going to make your average because you're going to spend more time planning and figuring things out and how do you want to address the problems at hand. So it's going to go up and down. So if you based all your productivity on one day out, you're going to have multiple points of failure. You're going to establish a new level and they're not going to hit it. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. Maybe they get more stuff done, but don't complete the technical definition of done, like have it ready to go out and it goes to the next sprint. So maybe the next sprint goes higher because they had work that's more towards the final outcome that you wanted, right? So you have to watch for that. You have to be mindful of that activity. One of the other things I wanted to mention to you, and I it was in my head and I forgot it, right? Because we were talking, but the averages don't always work. Oh, I like to use a moving average when I do velocities. Oh, I know 2 points. So when I use a moving average, I, instead of going each day, I go, what is the three sprint moving average? Is it going up? Is it trending up, trending down, trending steady? Are we in the same place? You know, where are we at on that graph, on that metric? One of the benefits, and you can go in so many levels with this. So the shorter the sprint, right, the more data points you get, the better you can do your average, right? The longer the sprint, the less data you have. So like when I want to do 3 sprint averages, typically, if you do a month sprint, that's 3 months before you figure out what your average is for your team, where you get the up and down. If you did a week, you in a month, well, actually, it would be 3 months, right? If you did a 3 sprint average in a monthly time box, it would be 3 months before you can figure out your average. If I did that same 3 sprints, I can get my average in under a month. If I did a 1 week sprint, or if I did a 2 week sprint, which is a month and a half, right? So in half the time that it took to get 3 sprints in a monthly iteration, if I did 2 week sprint iterations, I get it done in a month and half the time. And then you can kind of establish, what is my average velocity? What is my average productivity for my team? How's my team doing on average, right? Otherwise, it takes so long. And this is where you get the longer sprints. It takes so long to get the transformation because it takes so long to get the data to establish whether or not whatever change you did worked or didn't work. The bigger the sprint, the longer it takes for the transformation. The shorter the sprint, the shorter the time for the transformation. Something to think about that. So when you're looking at the average, which I recommend versus the up and downs, because yeah, we got we're so depressed now. We only got 700. Oh, we got 15. Then we got 7. Oh, we up and down. You're like an emotional roller coaster on your team, right? It's not the way to go. You want to use averages. So I wanted to share that with us. So many people are like, "Oh, we did so many points last sprint. We should do the same thing this sprint." Oh, first off, what do we do? Why did we have all those sprints? I mean, it was a great thing. It was awesome, but why? Right? Why do we achieve that? Just don't say because we did it, we should do it again. What did we do in that last sprint to achieve that high peak? Because that high peak may not be repeatable again, right? And you have to understand that you just can't go, well, the metric says, so we should just do it. I've had so many managers tell me that over time. I'm like, no, you can't do that. And then the worst ones don't pay attention to metrics. That's another extreme. But what I'm trying to share is look at the average over time is a better way of looking at metrics results than each individual metric measurement every point. Okay. So I wanted to share that with today on the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. I am, like I said, I'm going to put out some single references, single pictures, and some things from vacation. I like to do this. I'm going to add this as a bonus to this because I didn't do it Friday on a networking event or a get to know people, a greeting event or whatever, icebreaker. I like to ask 3 questions. 1, when was the last time you had fun? 2, when's your next fun thing planned? And 3, what's blocking you from having fun? And I do that for many reasons. So I'm going to talk about that over that maybe come Friday. Talk about the depth of those 3 questions and why I asked them at different avenues, even with the team. And we'll talk about that. And again, I did the hiking. I got 15,000 steps in yesterday. My average is now 10,000. High, lows. What are we doing? But my goal was to get to 12,000 a day versus the 10,000. But and some days it'll be better, some days it'll be less. I expect that. I'm not going to kill myself over not making it every day, right? But sooner or later, the averages work out to a point where I am hitting it every day. And then once I get there, what do I do to change? Can I use that to get to a higher number? Or maybe I do a different exercise altogether. So, with that, I want to wish you the best. What did you do fun last time? Right? When was the last time you had fun? Think about that. Think about the averages. Don't beat yourself up over single points above or below. How are you doing as a trend? Are you trending up? Are you trending down? Look at the averages. Don't look at single points. It's like, ooh, I'm going to do 50. No, I'm not going to do 15,000 every day. Anyway, take care, everyone. Have a great day and see you again soon. Bye.